Good morning. How is everyone feeling this morning so far, right? Good? You guys excited to hear a little bit more about AI this morning or what? I said, are you guys excited to hear about AI this morning or what? Come on, let's get some applause going here. Well, you might have heard Vicky mention that I'm a little enthusiastic about Appian, and for good reason. I've been writing software my entire life, since I was 8 years old, and I have never encountered a technology as transformational as Appian. So let's dig into this a bit. You know, as you heard Matt mention earlier, businesses globally have invested massively in AI. But unfortunately, the results have been quite disappointing. You know, let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Let's just call it out. Globally, we've poured $30 to $40 billion into generative AI investments. And MIT reports 95% of these orgs are still getting zero return on investment. Let me say that again. Zero return on investment. That's unacceptable. And this isn't a technology problem. It's not a technology gap. It is a business value gap. And today, we're going to show you how business and technology leaders globally are flipping the script on this statistic by putting AI to work where business value is actually occurring inside your most critical end-to-end business processes. But let's face it, you know, AI is hard, and building and maintaining your own AI infrastructure is even harder. You know, when you look at it, internal do-it-yourself, you know, efforts for AI, they fail twice as often as projects that use trusted vendors and partners like Appian. And if you look at it, most AI that's out there right now, it's on call. It's a chatbot waiting to be asked a question. That's AI as a helper. And this AI as a helper paradigm is not a recipe for business value creation. To deliver real business value, AI must be a worker embedded in your critical end-to-end business processes. AI alone, not very impressive. AI needs process, and let's face it, process needs AI. Process gives AI a job. It gives it a team. It gives it guardrails to keep it safe. It gives it business goals, making it effective, safe, and measurable. I think a really great way to look at it, I'm a pretty big car guy. Look at process as the chassis, and AI is the engine. Now, having worked on cars earlier in my life, I can tell you, without the chassis, the engine's just going to spin around on the ground and do absolutely nothing. But when you anchor AI, this powerful engine, to a governed workflow, every prediction triggers an action. Every action captures data, and thus the system gets smarter over time. And let's face it, Appian is the process company. We've been doing this for over 25 years. Customers don't necessarily need Appian for simple workflows, although we have quite a few customers using us for that way. But really the value is customers need Appian for their most complex, critical business processes. And our world-class process engine makes it simple to manage the complex mission-critical work, ensuring that you can turn your hardest problems into competitive advantages. And when you embed AI in a process, you wrap it in the controls and the structure, and then you let it do serious work for your business. And here's what that looks like. AI decisions embedded directly into the steps, the escalations, your critical SLAs, no swivel chair, no manual handoffs, no emails, or no phone calls. This is where business cycle times compress and compliance actually improves as the throughput rises. We're seeing this today. Now, process is only half the story. And as you heard Matt talk about data fabric this morning, the other half is absolutely essential. A transparent, a secure, and a performant virtual data fabric so that AI sees what it needs to do this serious work. Customer information, use cases, documents, any relevant or related information without all these archaic, brittle integrations that we've all come to know and hate over the years. This is what AI needs to perform serious work that provides true measurable business value. Now, over a decade ago, Appian, we started developing our very own patented data fabric. Yes, we have patents on our data fabric. And this is a way to help you connect data from across your enterprise into one common ontology with scalable performance, robust security, and minimal overhead from IT. Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But as you're going to see today, our customers are getting significant measurable business value from this foundation. And why this has always been our North Star at Appian, in the era of agentic AI, it's now a necessity. When AI can reason over the unified business context of information throughout your organization with great accuracy, it builds trust throughout your organization that just skyrockets. Now, Appian's AI, should I say, is really built for two basic outcomes. To automate what is slowing you down today, and to modernize how you're going to build tomorrow. This is how Appian is going to help you go beyond these simple AI experiments and help your organization deliver real business value with your investment into AI. Today, we're going to show you how Appian takes process and data and draws a clear path to business value. First, we're going to have Cenk Rank and Marta Velasquez will walk you through our product vision and showcase our latest innovations, illustrating to everyone in this room here the journey every company can take from AI automation to AI modernization to AI assistance, and most importantly, to AI business orchestration. After this segment, I'll come back up here, and I'm going to share a lot more insight about measuring the return on investment of all of your AI investments and how Appian customers globally are turning this vision into a game-changing business reality. So without further ado, please welcome to the stage Jake and Marta.
All right, thanks, Greg. Now, Marta and I are really excited to show you guys some of the latest innovations in the Appian platform. But before we get into that, before we get into the how, the features, the capabilities, let's talk about the why. And the why is the real work that runs your businesses, those complex, mission-critical processes. Think about the processes that matter to you, that matter to your business. Right? Is that customer onboarding, order to cash, claims management, procure to pay, and so many more. These processes on the surface may look a little different, but they all share the same common DNA. They have multiple departments and handoffs. They have to interact with data in both modern and legacy systems. And they often operate under strict rules and regulations. Now, the good news is if you're running these processes on Appian, you already have a big boost. You're already taking advantage of a full suite of automation capabilities that are removing bottlenecks and making those processes more efficient. But there are still some activities that can't be automated using traditional means. Either there are these decisions, there are actions, there are tasks. These are the things that we still give to humans today. And that might be because they're too complicated to describe the behavior using traditional means, or maybe they're too risky. Now, these are the activities, these are the tasks where you have an opportunity to employ Appian AI. Now, maybe let's zoom in on one of those examples, claims management. We could pick any of them. Let's pick claims management. We're going to show you here how we can take AI and apply it at every stage to make this process faster, smarter, and more efficient. So let's start with the beginning of the process. And Marta, maybe tell us a little bit more about what the scenario is here.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. So as you can see, we're beginning the claims process with the first notice of loss, where I, as a driver, can provide details of a minor car accident that I just had in Germany.
Well, I'm glad it was only a minor accident. First, let's imagine what it could look like in the product. And in this case, we're going to use AI to give it assistance, right? We're going to give Marta some help as she's going and taking on this task to submit the first notice of loss. And we're going to use AI here not just as a simple chatbot, and we're not just going to give a simple form, but we're going to have AI create an entire adaptive experience. Right? We're going to combine the ability to have forms and rich UIs with the ability to have chatbots and conversational interactions. It's a UI that's going to respond to the user's context in real time so that it dynamically changes the experience and helps Marta get to that outcome faster. So now let's take a look into the product. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake. So yeah, over here, we can see the first notice of loss to the left, and then this new claims assistant. And as you can see, the first thing it will seek is compliance. So we can see it's asked this question, completely securing this interaction. So let's go ahead and consent this. And right away, the assistant has confirmed my identity and verified my contact details. And look, it's also pulled the 3 vehicles associated with my policy.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually going to the systems of record, looking up your identity, and right there in the chat, actually generating the UI dynamically.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and select the car that I actually had my accident with. And in this case now, it will pull data specific to that vehicle. However, the mileage is not up to date. So let's go ahead and unupdate it.
So you're making a dynamic request here. Something doesn't look right, so you're telling it you want to fix that.
Exactly, Jake. And all within the context of this conversation. So yeah, now we can see a form for me to update that number.
Right, so another dynamically generated UI. And now is this going to actually update the data?
Exactly, it will.
So we're actually writing all the way back to a system of record right from this conversational experience.
Yes, exactly. And all, again, without ever having to leave the conversation. So as you can see, this is not just another text box. It's a very powerful tool that basically has allowed you to verify the user's identity, pull data from multiple different vehicle data, and presented a clear choice. But most importantly, it's rendered an Appian form inline that is constantly updating based on the user input and allowing the user to make updates to the data without ever having to leave the conversation.
So we can kind of choose now between these rich point-and-click dashboards, but also that kind of adaptive experience of chat. And as you saw, the updates are happening in both directions, so you can build an extremely adaptive experience for your users.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. An entire UI adapted in real time. And it's allowed us to have a seamless, intelligent, and compliant FNOL process.
Right. Excellent. If we go back to our claims process, then you can see by assisting the customer with AI, we've really streamlined that experience and therefore improved the process at the very start. Now, of course, we can actually do much more with AI as part of this process. Right? We can increase the autonomy level. Instead of just having AI as an assistant, as we showed there, we can actually have AI automate entire tasks. So at this point in the process, we're working with that repair shop, with Marta's car, and they're entering the invoice data so that we can complete the repairs and get your car back.
Yes, I really want my car back.
Now, many of you probably have very similar situations when you're dealing with documents. And when you're doing a manual document processing flow, you end up in a situation where your workflow ends up getting clogged, and that's going to delay revenue, or maybe it's going to introduce added risk. Instead of manually processing all those documents, we're going to add AI using intelligent document processing. By streamlining with AI, you're going to have that entire process run more smoothly. And Matt talked about it earlier. This is what Appian Doc Center is all about. It's the best option for intelligent document processing. It automates the classification and the extraction across a wide range of document formats with human in the loop, so you can have confidence and a check on the automation. And Doc Center is not just a standalone tool. We've woven it deeply into our process platform. So when you build a high accuracy model, as we're going to show, you can just drag and drop that right into the process, right into that point in the process where you're having a bottleneck and you want to unlock. And you still have all the robust validation and that human reconciliation so you can have confidence in the extraction. And that's what really unlocks the efficiencies in your process. So if we go back to where we're looking at, where we're going to apply Doc Center to this in the context of our claims management to see how we can help automate this invoice extraction. Let's take a look at how it works.
Yeah, let's go ahead. So getting a model up and running to extract data from a document is fast and easy. In a real auto repair business, there are many types of invoices and receipts that are processed daily, right?
I can imagine. I mean, every repair shop's going to have its own format, right? And then we're not going to get to dictate that. So we're going to have to come to the format, and that could be different formats, different languages, different scanned versus unscanned documents. And this is where really traditional IDP has struggled to create a manageable situation across all those different formats. Exactly.
And we all know that intelligent document processing isn't just about extraction. It's about automation. And you can't have true, straight-through processing without absolutely trusting the data that your AI provides. So that's why I'm really excited to introduce you our new validation capabilities. So over here, you can set out the rules that allow you to process a document automatically without having a human in the loop. And you can do all of this using Appian expressions. And it can be as simple as this example over here. So we set a rule that basically checks the policy adoption date. And if that's in the future, it will flag it for manual review. But it doesn't stop there. What is really powerful about these new validation rules is that you can leverage Appian's data fabric. So in this case, we're extracting the policy ID from a document, and we're verifying it against our customer data within our data fabric. And again, we don't stop there. There's a new AI reviewer, which is basically a secondary validation layer, a second AI model that verifies the extracted data and potentially flags any values it deems uncertain or incorrect. So this is your first line of defense against any potential AI errors. So let's have a look at an instance where these validations are in action. So if we go back and see one of the invoices that was processed, over here, when we try to reconcile the fields, we can see these secondary validations. So in this case, the invoice had the labor hours inputted in minutes. And the tool has flagged this up and basically told us to reconcile it so that number matches the labor hour.
Right, and of course we want our extraction to be as accurate as possible, but in cases where there are problems, it's great to know that you're going to be able to flag those errors, because now we can take that particular instance and route it to a human. Exactly. Knowing that you can route the accurate ones and have them be straight through processed, and knowing that the ones that are inaccurate can be routed to a human, that's that confidence that really allows you to ramp up the automation, not just with accuracy, but having that confidence level.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how Appian Doc Center delivers automation that you can truly trust.
All right, so if we go back to where we've been able to enable this now in our process, using Appian Doc Center, we've been able to automate that task with, again, high accuracy, but also with really high confidence. So now Marta's got her car back, and she's back on the road. So everybody, be a little bit more careful.
Finally, I have it back, yeah.
Now, that's not just one isolated example. We've actually seen a tremendous amount of success. We talked a little bit about it earlier when Matt was on stage, but these are not small improvements. These are transformative changes to some of those mission-critical processes that we were looking at earlier, right? Automating 95% of order volume, or reducing patient intake by 83%, underwriting time cut by 75%. Right? These are game-changing improvements for the products and the services that you are out there offering, and therefore it's no wonder, as you can see, that volume has really shot up in 2025, and we are looking forward to a really, really strong 2026 with Doc Center. Okay, so if we go back to our process, we've really used AI as an assistant at the beginning. We've been able to automate with Doc Center a specific task towards the end, and now we have this task in the middle where we're doing intake and triage. And this one poses some new challenges. It's not just a simple task. It's a complex and open-ended activity. And if you think about putting yourself in the situation of, say, a claims adjuster, what do they actually have to do? They have to look at the claim information. They have to look at the attachments, the photos. They have to take all of this context. Maybe they then look at the policy guidance so they can apply the company's business rules. They have to look at data from probably many different systems, and then they have to reason, and they have to make judgment calls, all before they can take action. Maybe that's updating data in another system, or maybe that's routing the claim to the next step. That's a lot of different behavior. It's a lot of different variants that could happen on a case-by-case basis. And every process has some of these kind of open-ended, challenging tasks. And up to now, with traditional automation, even with simple AI, it's been difficult and a challenge to automate those particular tasks. But now, by adding the flexibility of AI agents, we can automate a broader range of these tasks, expanding the value that AI and automation brings to your process, and adding efficiency to your core operations. Now, we do this with Appian Agent Studio. Agent Studio allows you to build, test, and deploy intelligent agents that act as true digital workers as part of your process. And Appian's process-centric approach has the governance and control to manage these agents safely and effectively. So right now, if we think about our triage task, it's taking about 48 hours, right? That's delay with humans involved. It's delay getting access and processing all this information. Let's look at how we can use Agent Studio to reduce that to less than 5 minutes. All right, let's see the product.
So over here, I've configured the agent. And configuring an agent is fast and simple. So at the top, you first configure the goals. And this is just in plain English. So here, we've configured the jobs we want the agent to do. Firstly, we want it to analyze a claim. And then we want it to go through different types of knowledge, such as policy documents, vehicle data, etc., to then output a final triage decision. Then we provide it with some knowledge tools, such as I was mentioning before, the triage policy and the vehicle data. And if, say, for example, there was an update to your triage policy, you can just go ahead and upload a new file. No need to record anything new. And then lastly, we provide it with the actions. So in this case, updating a claim or analyzing claim attachments. Then we put all of this together, and we provide it with the inputs. In this case, the accident form that we wanted to analyze, and any other attachments, such as a police report. And then the outputs, which include a triage decision, a claim summary, and a confidence score.
Yeah, so you can see we have inputs and outputs, which are going to allow us to wire that into a process, which we'll show in a minute.
Exactly. So let's have a look at an instance of an agent running. So over here, we can see how initially, for this first step, the agent has analyzed an accident form and extracted the data of the vehicles involved. Let's then go ahead and use that vehicle data to query our data fabric and bring out the policy number and verify that to the extracted one in the document, as well as identifying whether the car is insured or not.
And it's interesting because we're tapping into data fabric, but you didn't write that query, right? You didn't have to tell it exactly how to do that query. It took the data that it got out of the form and immediately applied it to its knowledge about how to query that data fabric, all dynamically.
Exactly. It did all of this autonomously, and also it provides reasoning for each of the steps it takes. And then lastly, the agent updates the claim with that final triage decision and a claim summary. And you might be wondering, so how do we embed one of these agents into one of our workflows? So that's really easy. Over here in our process modeler, we now have an execute AI agent smart service that you can drag and drop inside one of your processes and put it in action. Mm-hmm. This is a great example of putting AI into a process, delivering and streamlining all of your processes, yeah. So
I see, we're going to be able to take the things that we have in the context of the process, pass them into the inputs of that agent, maybe that specific claim ID. The agent's going to do the work that maybe the claims adjuster used to do and pass back that triage decision. And it looks like if we needed to, we could also route it to a human to review.
Exactly.
So we have that protection again, that confidence of having a human reviewer always readily available if you want to double check what the automation is doing. Yeah. Excellent. If we go back to our claims process then, we've now used Appian Agent Studio to go, and even for this challenging open-ended task, we've been able to bring AI-powered automation. So we've been able to assist users with AI. We've been able to automate individual tasks with AI and Doc Center. And now we've also used AI to orchestrate these multi-step, complex, open-ended tasks. So throughout this process, we've now made it faster, more efficient, and produced better results for the customer and for the business. Now, of course, yes, thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Now, I was going to say some of you might be thinking, but now I know you absolutely are thinking that you love what you're seeing. I can't wait to get Appian and get some of that AI into my process. But I've got a problem. My focus and my time and my budget is being tied down by these legacy platforms and applications. So with Appian, we allow you to modernize those legacy applications quickly, moving them to a modern application platform that you can use as a foundation for future innovation. So with Appian Composer, you can use AI to transform your requirements from those legacy systems, from those outdated applications. We allow developers and the business users to collaborate in real time as they review the designs for the future application, and then use those designs and turn them into new, scalable, secure applications, which sets the stage for continuous improvement. So we're leading the way with AI-assisted design to make it faster and easier to build mission-critical, AI-powered enterprise applications. Let's see how Appian Composer works in the product today.
Yep, let's go ahead. So let's take a look at how we can build an app using Composer in just a few minutes. So over here, we're going to upload a business requirements document for our particular use case, claims processing. And it can be as simple as uploading that file over in Composer and going ahead with the generate plan. So what this will do is that instantly Composer will create a visual structured plan of your application that you can do tweaks and modify, as we'll see in a second.
So either with a document or maybe just writing in a few requirements, we can take all the information that you already have about what you want and turn it quickly into this plan.
Exactly. So let's take a look at what Composer built. Over here, we can see that it's laid out all of the requirements and associated actions. It has also identified all of the personas, such as the claims agent and the claims manager, and associated the actions to each key user role. And as we mentioned before, this is completely editable, so you can move stuff around within your story map, edit different actions, or even use AI Copilot to make those tweaks to your requirements. Next, let's have a look at process. So over here, Composer has built in your workflow for this claim process. And this is where you can have walkthroughs with your stakeholders to get their feedback and ensure that the business is aligned with the process created.
Yeah, I mean, everything we're seeing here is all about that business and IT collaboration, so that you know that you're getting the right application at the end of the day.
Exactly. Then we go into the business rules. So we can see over here how Composer has identified those key business rules coming from that requirements document, such as this damage amount threshold, which basically flags a claim for review, for manager review, if the claim is above a certain threshold.
So we have requirements, we've got the personas, the process, the rules, and now I'm seeing some screens as well.
Exactly. So Composer has also built in those mockups and the different screens for your application. So if we navigate into one of them, over here we can see the main kind of claims processing landing page. And again, it's very easily editable, so you can add different sections to all of those screens, and even, again, use AI Copilot to make those tweaks to all of your interfaces. But we don't stop there. Let's not forget about our data model. So Composer, based on all of those requirements, the business rules, the process, has created a basic data foundation for our application that we can go ahead and edit and add new tables, make new relationships, etc.
Yeah, and I think knowing from some of the feedback of people who have used Composer, this is one of those things that's really giving them a boost, and being able to create an entire data model just from those requirements in one fell swoop. People are really loving that.
Yeah, exactly. This gives a massive head start to all of our developers. It basically provides them with the basic building blocks, such as the interfaces, the process, the expression rules, all using maintainable Appian SAIL. So yeah, this is a really good feature, very exciting, and it will allow our developers to focus on extending and expanding our application rather than building it from scratch.
Right, and generating that, we'll take those and turn them into a working application directly from these requirements.
Exactly.
Yeah, which you can then, of course, modify any further that you want. So that's fantastic, Marta. Thank you for showing us that. So think about, another round of applause for that one. Yeah. Yes, as someone who does occasionally build applications, I'm super excited to be able to be using Appian Composer now as the way to get started. So think about all those processes that matter to you, matter to your business, the ones that we looked at the beginning. Think about the changes that you have in store. Think about the changes that you want to make to those processes to impact the outcomes of your business. So now with Appian Composer, you can quickly realize your vision for an AI-powered future across all of those critical processes. So thank you very much, Marta, for all those great demos. Thank you, guys. And now I want to bring Gregg back out so he can tie it all back together.
Let's give Jake and Marta another round of applause. What a great demonstration. Talk about game-changing innovation. I look at all the software I've written over the last 30 years. Boy, I could have used Composer on a lot of those projects. Would have changed things quite a bit. But as you've seen, from assisting developers to automating tasks to orchestrating complex work with autonomous agents, this is the path to AI delivering real, measurable business value. And it all runs on the Appian platform. So let's bring this all together now. The 4 pillars. From AI, this is how AI is going to turn pilots into enterprise performance. First, adaptive experience. Then Doc Center, our Agent Studio, and finally Composer. These 4 elements working as one unified and cohesive platform. This is a design to operate in a seamless motion. Design the flow, automate the work, and then finally optimize in production continuously. And this is how you're going to help your organization operationalize change. But with all of this power, it's creating new critical questions for every business and IT leader in this room today. How are you going to manage this new hybrid digital human workforce? How are you going to govern it? How are you going to measure it? How are you going to measure its impact? And how are you going to prove to your stakeholders that AI is providing business value? This is the heart of the AOI ROI problem, and why 95% of organizations out there today are seeing 0 return on their investment. If the black box of AI is a problem with one AI agent, how bad is that going to be when you have hundreds of agents deployed throughout your organization? It will become a business showstopper. If you can't see it, you can't scale it. And so that's why at Appian, we've made measurable, observable return on investment a huge priority. And as I'm going to show you, our measurements surface when AI is accelerating business process stages, where it's stuck and hindering the business, and exactly where interventions pay back first. So let me introduce business control. And really the star of this segment here, it's our industry-recognized intelligent process mining and process optimization capabilities and our product Process HQ. You can't manage what you can't measure. This is why we built Appian's Process HQ. This is not theory, and this is not a fancy commercial with some famous spokesperson that we've seen in some other companies. This is real. This is your control tower for AI and business processes. And guess what? It actually works. It's how you're going to unlock continuous improvement and how you're going to measure a return on your AI investment in real time. This is how companies can shift their mindset from those one-time legacy process improvement projects that we've all been a part of that go nowhere to intelligently operationalizing the continuous change as part of your company's daily modern business processes. This is a new mind shift, and it's pretty clear. With Process HQ, you're going to completely change the way you think about managing business processes in your organization. Process HQ is going to provide you with a guided AI-driven path from data to actually making decisions that impact your business. Let's start with Discover. It starts with our patented virtual data fabric, which you saw earlier. It unifies 100% of your business data, from the legacy systems to modern apps, into one trusted, unified view. This is table stakes. You need this as your foundation. And don't accept substitutes of what people are calling data fabric. Do your homework. Next, Process HQ does not wait to be asked questions. It automatically and proactively surfaces the most critical bottlenecks in all your compliance deviations and inefficiencies. If it moves past the what and starts to tell you the why, guiding you directly to the root cause of the things that are slowing down your business. And then finally, and probably most importantly, act. This isn't just a dashboard to report the news of what's going on. Process HQ is connected to your entire business orchestration and automation platform, Appian. And when you see an insight, you can immediately act on it, launching a new automation, maybe assigning a new task, possibly deploying a new AI agent, all from one place. This is how you go from insight to action in minutes. Yes, minutes, not months. Think of this as your mission control for AI value. Seriously. Discover your real flows, identify the friction and the lift, and then act. Change the process and watch your critical KPIs move. This closes the loop between ambition and true business outcomes. And it also creates a very powerful AI improvement flywheel. It's the core of how you can transform your business on an ongoing basis. AI agents will execute that complex work. Process HQ will then monitor the end-to-end performance of both humans and AI in real time. And it will give you AI-driven insights to identify those bottlenecks or your next opportunity for improvement. You can act immediately using low-code or any of our automation tools you saw this morning to deploy a new solution rapidly. The process in your organization, all the processes will get smarter, and they will get faster, and they will get much more compliant. Every cycle is fully auditable and delivering measurable business value that your stakeholders will demand. This continuous loop of AI-driven work is governed by process intelligence and instantly acted upon our business automation platform, and it's how you achieve durable business transformation. Remember those three words, durable business transformation. This entire flywheel is only possible when it runs on an enterprise-grade foundation that unifies AI, process, and data from the ground up. Now, let's take all these great capabilities and connect them to some real-world business outcomes. Look, when I was a customer, my favorite thing was hearing customer stories about what other customers were doing. Sorry, getting a little thirsty up here. Let's take this leading Australian bank. They are tackling a massive core bank modernization with Appian at the core foundation. And as Matt talked about this morning, legacy modernization is not an easy task. They are rationalizing and consolidating over 800 legacy FileNet apps into Appian in record time. This isn't even a project that would have been fathomable without AI. It is too much to simply take on manually and go through all those apps. And they're using our composer. They are building new apps and consolidating and rationalizing at a speed they never thought was possible. They're leveraging our AI Doc Center to modernize a unified front door experience for all of their customers. And they have projected, and they are starting to reduce their operating costs by 23%. That's material. And they've improved their response times to their customer inquiries by 44%. These are game-changing business outcomes. And they are now projecting, at the end of this first year of this pilot, a $6.2 million in cost savings. This is the type of agility and transformation that is allowing them to design and launch new products even faster, directly driving growth and helping the bank stay ahead of the market. Consider the challenge of Canada Life, a leading North America life insurance company. They process millions of complex attending physician statements a year in order to underwrite new insurance policies. Now, these documents are complex. They're on average about 300 to 400 pages. They've got handwritten notes from doctors in there, a lot of technical and medical jargon in them, and they have to go through about 2 million of these documents a year. By automating this with Appian's AI, they can accelerate the underwriting and the claims decisioning. And this leads to better outcomes for their customers. It ensures that sensitive medical data that people were submitting to get a life insurance policy is handled accurately, compliantly, and ultimately can help them get their benefits to their clients faster. Benefits like being able to read through these documents 75% quicker. And they are now nearing a 98% AI accuracy. I think with human beings going through it, it was around 60% accurate. Speed and precision together change the economics of entire product lines at Canada Life. This is not a failed AI experiment or a pilot. This is real business value changing how they operate and ultimately how they serve their customers. Now, anybody who knows me personally or professionally knows I love to travel and I love to share these stories globally with customers all around the world. Now, me sharing the stories is one thing, but nothing compares to hearing the impact of Appian's AI from customers directly. And so I'd like to welcome to the stage now Klaus, the head of smart automation at Raiffeisen Bank International, to share his story about Appian's Agent Studio. Klaus?
Good morning.
Good morning, Klaus. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks
It's a
for
pleasure to have
having me.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Exciting stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Well, could you start off maybe by sharing with the audience here a little bit more about what Raiffeisen Bank International and your longstanding partnership with Appian is about?
Yeah, well, you know, Raiffeisen Bank International is a mid-sized corporate and retail bank here, headquartered in the lovely city of Vienna in Austria, but we also have here outlets in 10 more countries in Central and Eastern Europe. We are now here an Appian client for more than 4 years. And we fully trust Appian to run our mission-critical and enterprise-grade applications. And we have proven that already in different areas. So we have done corporate lending, we have done in the KYC, know your customer area, we're also in the compliance area. And we used Appian here in all these modernization efficiency efforts. We have seen that we can really rely here on the Appian platform. And in the meantime, we have about 15 applications deployed already on the platform so far.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, that's such a fantastic foundation to build upon. Now, looking into the future, AI is the topic on everyone's mind here today. Personally, what excites you about the potential of AI agents and the ability to transform the work at RBI?
Well, we heard it already, but you know, agents and agentic AI goes beyond traditional automation. So we see here quite a lot of potential also to embed these agents and to automate new areas, these gray areas of work where you have to do cognitive decision-making, complex activities. And here the agents will help us hopefully also to free up some resources, some business operations experts. And then we can apply those resources maybe to more value-adding and customer-facing activities. We see here kind of I would say, a new workforce, digital workforce, which works jointly here with the human workforce.
Sure.
Maybe even can step in instead of the humans and having this governance. And we are quite confident that here the Appian platform provides us the guardrails and the confidence and the governance. So that we see it more or less inherent to the design of the platform. Yeah.
Wow, I like that. A new digital workforce, but with guardrails. It's a powerful vision, to be quite honest. And I know you've been part of our beta program for Agent Studio. So from that early experience, what do you like most about Appian's direction and our unique approach to managing AI agents?
I would say what stood out to us was that Appian is still, putting the process in the center, at charge, and not the AI. With this approach, we can be sure that we can also avoid, some risks that agents go off script or that they start to do activities which they are not good at.
Sure.
So this is something which we believe is one of the critical success factors as well, that you have to have these guardrails in place, and you also have to apply a kind of a risk-based approach to make use of the agents in your processes. And it's clear that we want to apply them to do all these investigations, to do these judgments,
Sure.
And triage, whatever. Here we were looking forward, and we had already the chance to use the playground,
The playground.
and to make our first experience and get our first insights.
That's great. I mean, that's great to hear. And having worked for a U.S. bank regulator, I know how important that governance and those guardrails
Exactly.
are.
When we're in a super regulated environment, and we have to be secure, compliance, auditable, and for us, it's really great to see that that here Appian or the process is the conductor. Yeah. And I like this analogy, having this analogy of an orchestra and the conductor, and you have the musicians and you have the instruments, and the conductor exactly knows which instruments, which musicians to bring in at what time. And this is the same we see here. It's similar with the platform. Yeah, so that the process decides still which capabilities to use. Yeah. That's exactly what we are super keen to make use of within the next couple of weeks already. Yeah.
I love the aggressive nature, but I love the analogy. I mean, Appian is acting as the maestro here within.
Somehow, yeah.
What's up? If you could share with us maybe one area, one use case that you're most excited to start exploring with Appian agents.
Yeah, there is not really, one use case. We are currently looking at different use cases. I would say a promising one probably is the customer service area, so that we have here then customer service agents, which then can become an integral part here in this customer service area, take over here from human agents or step in. Another area is also, when we started here now with some discussions with our business areas, is corporate lending, where, for example, we have junior roles, we have senior roles there, and the agents could take over those senior roles, then they start to gather data, that they collect, evaluate the data, then prepare maybe a package,
Sure.
which then can be handed over to a loan officer, and he can make the decisions. And based on your risk appetite, then you can decide if you still want to go further, or if still you want to have the humans in the loop.
Well, that sounds like a very exciting future. But I want to thank you for joining us this morning, Klaus. And it sounds like you have an exciting future ahead of you. And if you'd like to hear more about RBI's story and Klaus's story, right back here at 1 o'clock today in this room, Klaus and Jake are going to be talking about their journey with Agent Studio in much more detail. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Klaus.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Exciting stuff, exciting stuff. Well, I will tell you, when I was a customer many, many years ago, independent validation is very important, and it matters. And we're proud to say that Appian is now a leader in the business orchestration and automation technology Magic Quadrant. And we're also a leader in enterprise low code with a 99% willingness of our current customers to recommend us to other customers. And why all of this matters is that in order to solve your most critical business challenges and get value out of AI, you need a single platform that can both orchestrate and build at enterprise standards. The journey to AI autonomy is only possible if you build it on a platform you can trust. And that's where leading analysts agree Appian is the platform of choice. Appian is a cohesive and unified business orchestration platform. We do not have bolt-ons from a hodgepodge of endless acquisitions. You will see no Frankenstacks here, and you will see no separate collaboration of process, IDP, agents, data fabric, and interfaces. We have one cohesive, unified platform, one IDE, one DevOps path, one skill set. This is critical. A unified platform with all of these capabilities working together seamlessly means lower total cost of ownership, faster time to value of change, and a way to govern AI at scale. This one platform with all of these unified and cohesive capabilities is game-changing. Our competitors, and there are a lot of competitors in this space, I know I've used them, I may have worked for a few, but they offer loosely integrated capabilities. They check the boxes, but when you sit down to use them, they slow down development and they actually introduce more risk. Appian was designed from day one for fast, seamless, agile development and easy governance. And none of this matters if Appian doesn't provide you with a platform that you can trust your mission-critical work. Critical work that requires security, compliance, availability, as well as scalability. All core tenets of Appian's product strategy to ensure serious work can be completed with efficiency. Security is table stakes at Appian. Transparent data fabric encryption and the certifications globally for enterprises expect. You don't have to trade speed for trust. Our patented data fabric, as we talked about earlier, provides that performant, secure access to all of your enterprise data that is necessary for AI to get serious work done effectively. In addition to row and column level security, which is extraordinarily difficult to build into a fabric, we've also introduced transparent data encryption, further solidifying the security of all of your critical business data. And we respect AI in the same manner that we respect your data. This means you have the highest confidence in Appian to protect your AI services just like your data, ensuring compliance and all of these international security standards. Whenever your data interacts with AI services provided with Appian, we ensure that your organization is always in complete control of that data. It never leaves your protected environment or your secure Appian environment. And when it comes to your mission-critical work, scale is not an option. Scale isn't a nice to have when you have to have AI succeed. It's a question of when, not if. And we're investing ahead of your business so your wins don't hit a ceiling. Throughput, documents, queries, writes, they scale across the entire enterprise, not just one component. And that's why we've engineered our platform to handle massive, fluctuating business demands, processing over 10 million processes per hour and over 100 million documents per year. This scalable performance measure ensures that your most complex, important operations can perform reliably. So in conclusion, the age of AI is here, and we could not be more excited to partner with you on this journey. Appian allows you to move beyond the hype and put AI to work safely and at scale. So where do you start? Pick a mission-critical process, claims, onboarding, order to cash. Put AI to work where the work is. Stand up Document Center. Kill your paperwork bottlenecks. Use Agent Studio to orchestrate cognitive tasks. Ship your first app with AI Composer and put those real-time ROI measurements on top. In 90 days, you can bring the scoreboard back to your boardroom and prove how AI with Appian provides real measurable business value. Appian is the platform to orchestrate your most critical work in the agentic era. And we look forward to partnering with you to orchestrate without the complexity and help you deliver real business value. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the show.